Most people who start their search in Bryan-College Station started completely backwards. They generally look for the home and then they start figuring out what are the other things that they have accessibility to, what is it close to, proximity, and even whether it's a good fit for them. And so in today's video, I'm gonna talk about the top 5 neighborhoods that you need to consider at relocating here in the Bryan-College Station area. So my name is your boy, Realtor with eXp Realty, and it's my pleasure to be able to assist you in thinking through some of the different neighborhoods that you want to consider when it comes to living in Bryan. Now, stay to the end because I'm going to say some things that probably a lot of people is not going to agree with when it comes to some of these neighborhoods. And if you stay to the end, I promise you, I'm going to give you more insight and more details on these neighborhood tips, because maybe you just say, I need to see examples. I need to see homes. I need to see the streets. Well, we're going to talk about that specifically in this, but you stay to the end. I'm going to give you more information to help you make the best decision. And of course, you can be able to reach out with the #1 YouTube channel in the Bryan-College Station area. And my job is solely to give you as much information so you can reach out to us, or we can be able to assist you so you can save time. And so make sure you go in the comments, ask questions, make sure you subscribe, because this is going to be jam-packed with a lot of information, and I want to make sure as you're relocating here that we can assist you. We've had the pleasure of helping many people relocating on who's here in the Bryan-College Station area, and so all of the things that we'll talk about today is going to highlight the amenities, the schools, the different access to maybe highways or even back streets that get you to certain areas that most people don't know about. So before we talk about the number 5 area in Bryan, why is it Bryan and why is it College Station? Let's talk about that for a little bit, because if you're new, you may say, why is it called BCS? Why is it Bryan-College Station? And you may think that's just one big city, and the truth of the matter is it's not. See, Bryan and College Station are 2 different cities. It's right borderline with each other, but they do have different amenities and things. And I think some of the bigger things that most people are concerned about when you're moving here is you can tell the difference with certain areas when it comes to the taxes, when it comes to development, and if you're into appreciation and want to know which ones are going to carry further, we'll talk about that. But let's just say this: most people, when they come to Texas A&M and they think of Bryan-College Station, you don't really think about Bryan. You are coming most of the time for Texas A&M. You want to go to the school, you're a professor who's going to be living at the school, or you're just someone who are relocating for their kids and you're looking for the best spot. Now, Bryan has actually been here longer than College Station, because Bryan is actually the area of where you have downtown Bryan. You have a lot of development that is actually connecting the College Station or the Bryan area, which is called Midtown. So I highly encourage you, if you want to know more about that, we've taken some time out to actually talk about the Midtown, Bryan-College Station, and we've talked a little bit about what are the things that are going to develop to help you understand. Okay, so let's get back to the neighborhoods, all right? The number 5 neighborhood that I think you need to consider when you're moving to the Bryan-College Station is Bonham Trace. So Bonham Trace is a fairly newer development, and this area is known for most of the local builders. So you have builders like R&L, you have builders like Avalon Homes, you have builders like Blackstone. You have all these different builders that are known in this neighborhood. So let's take a look at a map and get an idea of when you're going to be looking at Bonham Trace. So first, let's talk about highway. So this highway here is going to be Texas 6. Now, if you are coming in from Houston, if we look at this map, I'm gonna zoom out. So eventually, this is the Bryan area, and you can't see it on this map, but then you'll zoom in the College Station. So as you zoom out, you can see College Station, and then you have Bryan. So this is important because most of the time when people are moving or relocating to this Bryan area, you have to go through College Station. So you'll pass up Santa Wonderland, which is very popular around Christmas, and then you get all the way down here to Bryan. So I'm going to actually zone in to Bonham Trace Park because this is one of the encouragements that this neighborhood was named after. But Texas 6 is going to come in, or you have North or Roto Freeway. So if you're traveling on this highway, eventually you want to get off here at this exit so that you can be able to go underneath here. And when you go over, your pass over Sandburg Intermediate School, and you actually have an elementary, a bottom elementary here. And so right when you turn, you get down to this road, and eventually you'll be able to turn into Bottom Trace. Now, we've done some tours of some of these homes on these streets, and it's a lot of more development. So here's a couple things that I do want you to consider when it comes to this area. So number one, Bottom Trace is fairly new. I think it's less than 5 years old, and it doesn't have a lot of amenities. The only great thing that this is have accessibility to that elementary and the intermediate school. Now, it does have great access as you come in off of the highway, as I showed you. So if you're someone who maybe travel for work, this is a great neighborhood that is newer development and quick access, whether you may be coming from Waco or you're also coming from Houston. Now, if you are someone who's coming in from Waco, it's not that many people, but don't know. Sometimes it's important to know Waco, Dallas, in that area. So you just travel down 190, and we're actually going to talk about another neighborhood. So stay tuned. But let's finish on Bottom Trace. So as we've highlighted some of these on our YouTube videos, we've actually talked about certain builders and what are the styles of their home. So you have modern homes, and most of these builders are local builders. Now, the thing that I like about that is you have people who are very in tune with what Bryan-College has to offer, and they package all these homes in this neighborhood that's going to be a good fit for people who's relocating, first-time home buyers, and even people who are not looking for a large family home. If you're looking for that, stay tuned. I'll talk about that. But this neighborhood is really for someone who's looking for anywhere from a 1,300 square foot home to about maybe under 2,000 square feet. So you're going to range anywhere from that 230 to maybe 325 at the highest in this neighborhood. Now, these homes are going to be very well suited for families or just looking for something that's cost efficient. And we talk about the investment. And for me, I think Bryan has a lot of appreciation that is coming. And so to be able to get something in this neighborhood, I think is also very good. Now, amenities for this neighborhood, they really don't have many. Now, there's always talk that something will happen later on, but I'm gonna be honest with you. If it's nothing there right now, it's gonna be some time if it comes. And maybe you can be able to look down the line and I will bite my tongue and say, hey, they actually are having some. But as of right now, they have no amenities. So the reason I like this is just for sometimes affordability, easy access to schools and the highway if you're traveling in from town. Now, I will tell you this, if you're someone who's looking for a neighborhood that's going to be close to Texas A&M, this is not going to be a good fit for you. This is solely for families that's going to be here. Now, I'm not to say that you can't stay in this area if you're a college student or if you're a young professional. Just most of the time, the number one question we do get asked is, how close is this going to be to campus? So number 4, the next neighborhood that I think you're like, and it's a good combination of newer and development homes and has a little bit more to offer, is going to be Austin Connolly. Now, Austin Connolly has been around for a lot longer, and it has a lot of phases to it. So this is the more established neighborhood, and they have a map, and we're just going to pull up the map, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about all the things that's in Austin Connolly, amenities, where part of Bryan is located, and accessibility that they have. So this is Austin Connolly. So you have Austin Connolly Park, and as you can see, it's several different phases of the neighborhood. It's over 21 phases. Now, a lot of these first phases are more established homes, and these homes is going to be right off of Austin Connolly Parkway. So as you see here, this is going to be connected not only to Austin Parkway, but Boonville, which is a very popular street. Now you say, where is this located? Because we have a lot of restaurants that connects this. So let's zoom out just for a couple minutes and actually look at where we're at in Bryan. So right here, this is still Texas 6. So just always remember, Texas 6 is going to be the main highway. So we were up here a little bit close to Bonham Trace neighborhood. So this is a little bit closer to the College Station area. So as we zoom in, you see other neighborhoods, Miramont Country Club, and we'll highlight that in another video. But this here is going to be some of the newer development phases. So the higher the numbers are, you're going to get more newer development. And you have, as you can look in this map right here, this phase here where they have a lot of newer construction that's going on. So when it comes to Austin Conley, they have a great bunch of, whether it's newer development and older homes, and I say older homes, so you're going to get homes that's going to range anywhere in that lower probably 300 up to probably 450, maybe $500,000. So this is a good area for families that is growing and they have a good size, and you want to look at amenities and accessibility. So they are located, you have here, and you have some elementary. So you have Mitchell Elementary School. If you actually come up here, you have James Orwell High School that's close. And that is helpful because you have these accessibility to these schools, and it actually have Allen Academy that is not far. So you have a great selection of homes depending on what side of you want to live on. And then shopping, you have Kroger, you have the movie theaters, you even have some hotels that's going to be connected there, because this Boonville Road right here is going to really be like a connecting street. And this here, as we go across Boonville, you'll connect that to William E. Bryan. So this here cross over Texas 6. And generally when you get on this side, you're going to get a couple more like your postal office. So for those people who are going to be living here and you need to get your P.O. box, this has great accessibility there. And as you come down, you know, most people want to know, how close is your Target? That's really all I want to know. Right? So I will tell you, it's not too far. So if you come down here, there's talk that you see this Target right here. So this Boonville would be a great street as you travel. Allen Academy will be here, and this Briarcrest Road, you'll get Target, and you also have a lot of different other stores. So you have Jumping Worlds for all my people who have kids, and you say, hey, I gotta, you know, maybe a homeschool, or maybe want to keep our kids, we're gonna do something with the kids. They have here, the Easton have like a jiu-jitsu studio here, and they also have a gym, True Fit, which is one of many locations in this area. So you have some speculation that down here off of Boonville is going to be some new shopping center. So say it's going to be a super HEB. I don't know. I don't have proof of that yet, but you'll see as you come in here, the development phase. You have some baseball field. And if you chose to, when you reach out, we can actually direct you to this website when it comes to this here, and we'll make sure I put it in the links below. But you can look at some of the bylaws, if they have HOA, and some of the costs that associated with that, and the board meetings when they meet. And I'll tell you this, when it comes to Austin Conley, and I'm going to say this, when it comes to most of all the different neighborhoods that's going to be located here in the Bryan area, one thing I want you to consider is this: most HOAs have a horrible rep. And the reason is because you would hear people saying, hey, well, it's a lot of, you know, unique stories that goes around online. And I will tell you, Bryan has probably the most user-friendly HOAs. I've not heard of any nightmares. Now, I'm probably, at the time of this video, I'll probably get a lot of you guys to comment. So I encourage you, comment below if I'm wrong. If you believe that it's some things that go on in the HOA, let the people know, because they want to know. But I haven't heard of any nightmares that are going on in the HOA community, especially in Austin Conley. And because it's a bigger development, there could be some luring stories out there. I don't know, but I haven't heard it, and people haven't came across me. And Austin Conley seems to be one of the top areas that a lot of people like. So next at number 3, we're gonna talk about Edgewater. So Edgewater is at the time, had developed over 700 homes, and they probably have surpassed that by the time of this recording. Now, Edgewater has been one of the neighborhoods that has been on developing, and so it has several of different layers to it. So the beginning of Edgewater has a local builder here of Stylecraft, and since then it's had other additions and add-on when it comes to that area. Now, this here is getting closer to being in the heart of Bryan, and real close to that borderline of College Station and very close to A&M as well. So this area is going to have a lot of different schools when it comes to elementaries. Not steering you into any particular school in none of these, but I just want to give you a highlight of accessibility to certain schools that they do have in this area. Now, amenities, they do have a couple good ones. I also think not probably just within the community, but outside as far as distance. So let's just go ahead and get on a map. So Edgewater is located off of Villa Maria. So let's just zoom in so that we can see the different layers that Edgewater have. So this street of Villa Maria actually would start from, let's connect this all the way to our Midtown Bryan. If you don't know what Midtown Bryan, I highly encourage you to take some time out to look at some of my videos around this Midtown Bryan area, because you would see this South College street right here is going to be the connecting street to go straight into Texas A&M. So if you go down the South College, you'll cut through from College Station to Bryan, and then from there you'll take a left. So you have Top Golf, you have a lot of student housing that's going to be in this area over here. And then once you cross over underneath the underpass, you would get Walmart right off of North Harvey Mitchell. And as you come off of there, you have another True Fit, so getting your workout on. And then as you come all the way down that Villa Maria, you will pass up some older and other neighborhoods all in here before you get to Edgewater. So this turn in right here off of Autumn Lake Drive is going to be the entry that's going to turn right into Edgewater. Now, Edgewater, as you look at it, is going to initially be built by Stylecraft, and so a lot of these homes that you'll see at the very beginning, you may see anything from Stylecraft. Now, this have a lot of different homes, and we've done several videos in this neighborhood. We know the builders, we build great relationship with these people, and so before I even go any further when it comes to this neighborhood, please reach out, because if you start seeing this and you start saying, well, which builder is a good builder for me, you know, what is the price point for a lot of these homes in this area, square footage. This neighborhood itself has been developed over years, and although they still have some more streets they are adding and more developments, timing is going to be important for you. So what I would encourage you to do, reach out right now, either send me an email, send me a text, or call, whichever works best for you. Explain to me when you're coming here and what is your goal, price range, budget, and that is the way that I can point you directly to what is going to be best for you as you're relocating, as you're coming here, and the time frame within you're coming. Because as you're looking at this video, the timing of moving into certain neighborhoods does vary on availability. Okay, so let's go back to this map, and so I'm gonna zoom out a little bit, because Edgewater, you have the park, but you're gonna drive all the way down the street of Autumn, and you're gonna have your model home for some of the Stylecrafts. And as you go further, this neighborhood can get very shifty as far as which direction you go as opposed to what is available in this neighborhood. Now, I would say there is some newer homes in development that's being developed over here, and Stylecraft is doing a little building. Now, one thing I will say, you'll see they have some very unique houses where they have driveways and they have these extra parking to the side in the very back. So this is really good for a combination of bigger families, or if you're a college student and you are sharing this house, well, you'll see a lot of these homes do have these extra driveways on the side for extra parking, because one of the things they did want for this neighborhood is to have people parking in the street. You'll see a lot of homes and neighborhoods that has been built is that it's a lot of parking on the side of the street, because sometimes it's not enough parking for you. And so the best way that they wanted to go about fixing that is allowing you to have this extra space. And so I think that the developers did a real good job of thinking about that. And this area itself is, you'll see a couple of these on a map, but as you get a little further down, you don't see any squares. So we've done some work in this area, so we will know how far some of these streets goes and what look like even some of these loop arounds. You can check out some of the videos we did on some of these streets and some of the other builders that are local builders as well. And so, but this Edgewater, they have a few amenities. So if you're looking for walking trails, this is going to be a great neighborhood for that. You will see a lot of walking in between going into Edgewater. And the unique thing about this, you're going to find it a little confusing, but you're going to find other mini subdivisions within Edgewater, like Pinemont, and that's going to be certain builders just on this one street. So let's see if I can be able to zoom in that, so you can just be aware, because if you drove into this area, you would be like, what is going on down that street? So right here, Pinemont View, this here is within Edgewater, and so you can choose to go to our YouTube channel and you can be able to find this street of Pinemont. Now, these builders here are Ranger Home and Abilene Homes that are mostly on this street right here, and you'll see that in some of these other streets have just certain builders. So this neighborhood has developed so many different phases. That's just why I've always tell people to reach out. Now, price point for a lot of these homes would start closer to the mid to high 200s, up to anywhere from at 300 to 325, maybe 350 price point. Now, you will find some homes and certain builders who are coming in and it can get up to upwards of $400,000 as well. So you really need to know if you're a bigger family that needs the space and maybe you want schooling options. I'll tell you a couple of things as you go out of this neighborhood. One of the other schooling in this area, and you have an elementary branch elementary school, and if you go down here, you'll have Brazos Christian School, which is a private school. And so completely up to you if you are wanting to put your kid in a private school or public school. I'm not stirring you towards anything particularly, just letting you know aware of what is here and what is available. And if you like golfing traditions, it's not too far. All I have to say is this here neighborhood, Edgewater, I put this at number 3 is just because proximity to Texas A&M. As you've seen us walk through and get close to Midtown and a lot of the development that's going on in this area, and probably at the time of this video, it's a couple townhomes that's going to be connected as you go down that Villa Maria Road. So you will see a lot of development as you get there, and you can be like, oh, well, I didn't know about that. And that's why I always encourage you to reach out, because based on what you're looking for, square footage, room count, price point, homes that you're looking to purchase for you or your family, that's where I want to save you time. That's where I tell you to reach out to me directly so that I can assist you with this, because although these are helpful videos, I want to make sure what you're looking at is going to be of best interest for you. So as we start to narrow down to the top 2 neighborhoods in the Bryan area, remember reaching out so that we can plan and start processing for you, because maybe you have a job relocation or maybe you're relocating for a job. This is critical. Now, the second and probably the most videos we have put on this channel in this neighborhood is going to be Pleasant Hill. Pleasant Hill is the number 2 in Bryan. And here's what Pleasant Hill on the map where it's located. So you have a combination of builders. This is it's a DR Ford community. You have some Lennar homes in this area. Now, this here is probably the neighborhood that is the furthest out towards past all our different neighborhoods. So we passed up our number 5 and number 4 neighborhood to get all the way over here. And so as you're on this highway, it's actually, you would think you're leaving the city of Bryan, but this development has several years left. They have at the time 500 homes and probably is going to continue to build as far as homes that are to come as well. Now, I will say out of all of the neighborhoods, one of the reasons I do like this is because they do have a pool. Now, a lot of amenities that goes on in this area, it's hard to find pool and have some some type of community involvement. So Pleasant Hill does a very great job, whether it's Halloween or it's Christmas or if it's some type of community event going on. You start to see people get involved. Neighbors are very friendly. We actually lived in this area when we first moved or located here, and I think they are doing a great job of hospitality. If you're looking for that Texas hospitality, it's great in this area. And also, you'll find out that this is a great area if at some point you decide, hey, I want to live here, but eventually I want to be able to move and maybe rent out my place. This is an area I'll recommend for that reason as well. But you can go in here and take a look at some of the streets. Now, I will warn you, this is kind of in the boondocks. Like I said, it is out there. You would actually think at some point you're leaving before you get to this neighborhood, so just be warned. Now, as we have Omega Builder, that is another local builder. You have another Stylecraft, Lennar Homes, and D.R. Horton are the main builders there for right now. And this long street right here, you can connect back to Walmart. That was close off of Villa Maria. That was close off of Villa Maria. And as you turn in here, you'll go in and Cartwright Street. So you'll have some of the model home that's going to be right here off the corner of, you'll have the D.R. Horton model home, and you turn down here, and most of these are going to be all your different D.R. Horton homes. If you go a little bit further, you have Omega Builders model home that's going to be right here. And as you ride up the street, you'll see a combination of Omega Home and Stylecraft Homes. And then you keep going down this street, you would see a model home for Stylecraft, and you go further, you'll see Lennar Homes. Now, this street here, as you come down off the Taggart Trail, this is going to be most of the D.R. Horton homes. Now back here, you have a lot of new development. You even see some of the videos we did was off of Jetter Drive and some of the new construction that generally sells before you even can get back here. And here's why. A lot of these price point homes, they can start off as low as $240 to $250. These are great first-time buyer homes. Now, they have extended to probably about 3,000 square feet when it comes to homes in this neighborhood because it's very family friendly. I see most families that's gonna be living out here than college students, and just because of the distance, some distance out when it comes to this neighborhood. But I would say Pleasant Hill, a lot of great incentivize on homes. And if you're looking and trying to have a question about financing, this area is a good area to consider before you use your own finances. Let's see if you could be able to beat the market. That's one thing that I do love helping people with, is comparing contrasts when it comes to finances, because oftentimes it has nothing to do whether you have a good or bad credit score. Well, a little bit. But the point is how a lot of these builders are positioning these homes in these neighborhoods and why they sometimes sell before they're even finished. This is why the reason why I've built a lot of videos in this neighborhood, because most people won't get the chance to see the finished product, because you would say, well, I didn't see this online. I didn't see this on, the MLS or the Zillows or the Realtor.com. Because reaching out and working with us, because we have these relationships, oftentimes we would sell houses just through the relationships I have with the builders. So I encourage you, reach out, book a time with me, because I will want to make sure that you are making the best use of your time and efficiency in a Bryan-College Station area. So now, the very top neighborhood in the Bryan area. This one I like because I think it's a combination of everything, whether it's a family, whether it's a student, combination of luxury, and it's going to be in a great proximity of campus. It's actually connected to one of the popular streets, which is University Street. And if you haven't guessed it already, it's going to be Oakmont neighborhood. So Oakmont is the perfect place to be able to lay your roots. So if you're looking to retire, or if you're that place where you are alumni and you want to be able to find a good combination of family and good amenity homes. So homes in this area can kind of go very minimum $350 up to about $550. Price point, even maybe $600K. So this community is made up of certain homes. So if you see this layout of homes, you can see the home sites, and this is going to tell you some of the existing home. They have some multifamily, some commercial office space, and then the park, and then a porch. So they have a area where you can choose to hang out, work out, and have a full access membership to the amenities that they have. And so you have this fitness center, which is state of the art. You have an adult pool and a kid pool, like a splash pad. And you can see not only community park, you have the pickleballs and basketball courts. This is literally gonna probably have all your different amenities that you're looking for when it comes to this neighborhood. And I have found that this is one of the highly sorted out neighborhoods just because of this reason. And they have a good variety. Now, if you want townhomes or if you want a home itself, this is where you get the good variety of price point and square footage. I mean, you can find homes up to over 3,000 square feet. Now, you don't need something quite that big. Maybe this is going to be more luxury built homes. So let's take a look at it on a map and see where this is located. So as you are looking and as you're wanting to understand what all this neighborhood has to offer. Now, they do have a HOA, and when you meet with us, we could connect you more and help you understand what does this area or this city has to offer. And so you can see this map view. So as you look at this street here, as you're coming off of University, this street off of University is going to pass up a lot of assisted living apartments, and you actually have this street goes all the way down towards Veteran Park. So it's this here Veteran Park. They have a lot of sports, and this is a great park that you can be able to visit as well. And then also you have the Texas 6 access that you can be able to get off and get on. But right when you cross over University, you start having a lot of shopping areas. This is a ton of food location. You have your Olive Garden, Texas Roadhouse, and Cheddar's. You actually, let's see, if you zoom in, it's a couple more locations here, but and literally you come straight out. So you have Rings and More. There we go, Fish Daddy Grills. I couldn't remind myself of the name. So great food options there. Oakmont is for sure, I think, not only the top area if you're looking for a combination of amenities and every amenity that you can think of. Now, the thing when it comes to Bryan-College Station in some of these neighborhoods, they're not your most pristine suburbs, or these are not, a combination of country clubs or even golf course community. These are probably the top 5 that someone like yourself is wanting to get a good feel. You say, I don't want to fully establish myself in Bryan-College Station, but I want to be able to find something that's going to be a great use of my money and my time. I'm planning on being here maybe 5 years or less. And if so, I'm going to point you to these neighborhoods because most of the time when people relocate here, it's for a job, but sometimes they end up staying a little bit longer. So depending on your situation, because I think it changed season by season, I want you to take a look at this. So we'll highlight it again. So number 5, we talked about Bottom Trace. Bottom Trace is right there in Bryan. Great starter homes, great relocating home, and great neighborhood if you're thinking about investing. And then 4th, you're going to go to Austin Connolly. Austin Connolly has several different phases, whether you're looking for brand new or older homes, right in the heart of a lot of development that's going on in Bryan, and connected to some of the other connecting neighborhoods as well. Next, you have your Edgewater. Edgewater gets you closer to campus. This is now where you're going to have a combination of family and college students. So just so you know, you're going to see a few college students, or this is a great area for rental property for your students if you don't want to be so close to campus, but you want to be close enough. And then number 2, you have Pleasant Hill. This is further away. This is probably better for Blaine College students than it is for Texas A&M. Now, don't get me wrong, still in Bryan, you can actually hit a straight shot to that if you get on the highway and go straight from there to school. So it's not a bad say, but just they're the distance there that you need to keep in mind if you're definitely trying to get to class on time. Not good for a sophomore or freshman. It's probably better for my upperclassmen who I guess went through the rough patch of colleges already. And then last but not least, we have Oakmont. So thank you very much for taking out the time for watching this. And if this has been helpful for you at all, please reach out. Our job and my goal is you're locating to this area, you want to live in this area, and even thinking about investing, how can we answer your specific questions? So as always, make sure you call, text, or even comment in the video. Hey, can you tell me a little bit more about this area? I'm happy to comment and be able to give you whatever insights. And so that when we make more videos, I can see what the questions you ask. So please like this, please subscribe. My job is to continue to bring people like yourself and people who come to Bryan-College Station, continue to be one of the #1 YouTube channels here in the area, but give you information that you care for. So thank you for taking out the time for watching this. And what we always say about your legacy and home and purchasing and investing is that your legacy begins when your excuses end. So we look forward to talking to you soon.